Tell me, what is the most difficult thing about English? What do you feel about the?
Well, English is a composite of all different languages. So you're not going to have just strictly one language in there. You're going to have, for instance, sauna is a Scandinavian word. That's going to be in the dictionary as the origin is Scandinavia. Or kindergarten, a German word, it's going to be the origin German. So when you look through your dictionary, you'll notice that there's all these variations of where each word comes from. And in addition to that, the pronunciations, some words look very similar, but they're pronounced differently. So you have to be aware, and actually the only way that you can do that is by listening to speakers in America and reading words as you're listening to someone saying the words. And I think that helps a lot. What any comments about?
Yes. Let me. Should I switch this movie? Joint. There. We have both of us. Can you see that? Come closer. I have an opinion about that too, because it's such a fluid language. English is such a fluid language, and there is an example of the word juggernaut.
Yes.
Juggernaut has come from the word from Bengal, where it talks about Jagannath, where you have Jagannath means ruler of the world. So when they have a procession, and they do that every year, it's so big that nothing can move. And it is just a big, huge movement that will cut everything else down till it goes to the ocean, and then they immerse the statue there. So Juggernaut means a movement that can't be stopped.
Oh.
Which is a word that was born from that.
And that originated in India.
It originated from India, from Jagannath. That means a movement that can't be stopped, but it's a divine movement. It's representative of the divine God. And then you have the very common word karma.
Yes.
Yeah, that's now part of it.
And that's also an Indian word?
Yes, it comes from India. So you have that, and I'm sure you have words from other jungle. The word jungle.
Where does jungle come from?
From India.
Oh, I'll be darned, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's an Indian word too. So now it's become totally part of America.
And then you have some Italian words like spaghetti.
Spaghetti, that's right.
Pizza. Well, they're more like food words.
I think I'm missing you. We have the wall coming here.
The wall between us. So I guess those are some examples. I can't think of any other examples right at the moment. But
Zeitgeist is German. The movement.
Zeppelin, that
Zeppelin
big Zeppelin in the sky, that's German.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and so even Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist means the Zeitgeist is the culture of the moment.
Demitasse is a little small coffee cup, like itty bitty little coffee cup, and that comes from French.
Yes, that's right, demitasse.
And can't think of any more.
Yeah.
Can you think of one?
I can't at this point, but I know one which is a very difficult word. It's one of my favorite words actually. Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is just a nasty word. It's from German.
I thought it sounded German.
It's German. It means the pleasure you feel to watch somebody else in pain. Isn't that horrible?
Oh, that's
It's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Schadenfreude. And actually, I looked into it. No other language has it. The word does not exist anywhere else.
Is that in the English dictionary then?
Yes, and it's now part of English. So it's included in English, but it doesn't exist anywhere else.
Oh, wow. That's not a good word.
Well, do it. People do it all this time. What they're doing now with watching all this terrible slaughter in Gaza, and they're watching it, and they're actually getting pleasure from it.
Oh, that's...
So it's a nasty thing, and the same word is used in Scandinavia, but changed a little. They add something at the end of it to make it Scandinavian. but in English they use it as it is, Schadenfreude. Schaden means shadow. Freude means pleasure. So it's a mixture. It's a composite word in German, and that's now part of English. And I think that English structure itself was
And what
Germanic.
about doppelganger?
What is
Remember
that?
we heard that today? A doppelganger is a German word for a person that looks just like you somewhere else in the world. It's called a doppelganger.
And that's German.
It's a German word. I heard them mention it when we were at that seminar today. And the woman said, "Does anybody know what a doppelganger is?" And that was someone that's not your twin, but looks like your twin.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting word too.
Yes, and I don't know
I think
how
the
to-
German words are
very interesting.
very interesting. 'Cause-
It's a very interesting language.
yes.
And German is so difficult. It takes 4 years for you to learn it. It's actually more difficult than English. German,
Yes, I can see that.
right? I can't think of anything else. I'm sure there are lots, though. I just can't think of them because of the dictionary would tell you. So the way you look it up in the dictionary is to call it the how do you pronounce it? Etymology.
Yes.
So etymology means the origin of the word. So whatever word it is, when you look it up and you see where it's coming from, Italian or wherever, that's the etymology. E-T, how do you spell it? Do you know how to spell it?
Etymolgy.
Yeah, that's it. Etymology. Anyway, it's structured. So they keep a tab of it and they'll tell you, okay, look up the dictionary and the etymology, and I think they use a abbreviation for etymology. They say ET, ETY or something like that.
Yes.
It's some kind of an abbreviation, that they say for that.
Yes.
Think of anything else?
No, but I do know there are a lot of Latin and Greek derivatives also of words. I can't particularly think of any off the top of my head, but in the dictionary,
Yes.
a lot of words are based off of
Latin.
Greek and Latin words.
Yeah.
Can you think of any come into your mind?
Oh.
I can't think of any at the
I
moment,
can't.
but I do know that there's some.
We had such a wonderful lunch. My mind is my
It's
mind,
nap time.
my mind is not that sharp. But I can't. Latin words are very popular.
Oh, and then you have all the prefixes and suffixes of words, because when you take any courses for biology or the sciences, you'll always have to learn all the prefixes. That's the little part that comes before the root word, and then all the suffixes, like the ending of after the root word. So it's broken down into those three parts, and that is a lot of that is based off of the Latin.
So I think that needs to be explained a little bit.
Like
That's very-
biology.
Yeah.
Bio means life. Ology means the study of. So if you put bio and ology together, you have the study of life.
Yes. Yes. So what she's saying is actually very important. It's how a word is formed. You have the beginning part, which means the prefix, 2 words, to fix before, right? So prefix.
Even prefix
And then
has
suffix.
a prefix because it's got pre meaning before, like she said, and you're fixing the word with this pre, the before part that changes
Yeah.
the actual word. And then suffix is the part at the back that also changes the meaning of the word.
Yes. So a suffix means that comes after the word, and prefix is what comes before the word. So you have the original word, like bio, and then biology, psychology, right? So it's a
Psyche means mind, and ology means the study of. So, and then sociology, socio is the world around us, like social, social creatures. We're social human beings. And then ology is the study of. So you have the study of people, the study of the mind for psychology, the study of life for biology. So you have all these
Anthropology,
anthropology.
study of the culture.
Yes.
Anthro is how they have the culture of the various people.
Right.
So
Where the
anthropo-
person came from and everything like that. Can't think of any more ologies.
Right, but the idea, you get the idea that it's a suffix. You add that suffix, which changes the meaning, but gives it more depth to give it more reason for
And it
why.
takes it and breaks it down further. Instead of a generalized description of something, it specializes it into something much more specific and
Yes.
descriptive of meaning.
Yes, absolutely, very well said. Um, because English is very fluid. They went to so many countries. Wherever they went, they picked up stuff from wherever they went and included that in the language. That's why it's so difficult. It's not structured. There's no limit to it. It keeps on growing. It's like a fluid, like water. And you have to figure it out. You have the basic rules, and I did 16 lectures, 16 sessions to show the basic rules. And then after that, then you keep on developing and you start learning more and more from all of them. I gave 60 words, and there's no pattern to it. Even with the words that you have to look at a certain word and you see the past tense, not all of them will have the same past tense. And the future tense, not all of them will, there's no system to it. So you just have to know the words, just like you know your friends. You know the friend's name. You have 100 friends, each one of them has a different name, and you just have to get to know the language from that point of view, because there's no logic. You know, when you read a book and you read a book, but the color red, R-E-D, is different to R-E-A-D, and R-E-A-D also means read. It's not logical.
No.
And so you have to recognize it. That's the difficult part. That's why it's composite, like you say, but it's also fluid, like water. Yeah.
Yes, it's very complex, but at the same time, it can be fun to learn English because it's like a puzzle. You just have to put the pieces together, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time and it's a challenge, but it's worthwhile because you're learning something that's going to help you, make your way.
It's very important. Actually, after the Second World War, English became the technical language for the world. So, if you don't, in Europe, they learn 4 languages, but they must know English for the technical part of it. Japan, they'll know Japanese, which is so difficult, but they have to learn English for the technical expression. So the technical language of the entire world is English.
And that makes sense. I didn't realize that it was the technical language of the world, but I met people from Pakistan or Denmark or Germany, and they all know English. And I'm like, why do you know English? Well, we learned it in our country because it's part of our, languages. We had to learn it. But in America, you don't have to learn Spanish or French if you don't want to. So I feel like, now that I know that that's why they learn it, is because it's the technical language. That makes sense to me.
Yes, and only after the Second World War.
Oh.
Before the Second World War, English was not so prominent.
Oh.
It's after the Second World War when England won and America won. Interestingly, this I learned, in America it was going to be between German and English, and it was one vote that made it go into English. Otherwise, America would have been a German-speaking country, because at that time there were equal number of Germans and English in America, and they had to take a vote. to see which language should be pushed and become prominent. And it was one vote, one vote, and it
Wow.
became English. Isn't that interesting? And this is somebody said, oh, there wasn't a vote, and somebody said there was, but this is the information I have. Ultimately, German did not take.
Well, I always heard that if Hitler won the war, that we would have been speaking German. That's what I heard. But because he didn't win the
Yeah.
war, the Russians went in and, kept him from becoming more powerful than he already was. So he didn't get to change
Yeah.
everybody to English.
But
to
we,
German.
but we didn't learn Russian.
No.
You know, we didn't learn Russian. We learned English because it was our.
Because of the voting.
Yes, because of the voting, and because it was the English-speaking people who won. So then it was the one that was pushed.
Because Germans were not in very good favor at that point in time.
Oh yeah, yeah. In fact, a lot of people at that time in America, if you were German, they wanted to hide the fact that they were German. They would try and change the name or hide it. And it's kind of it's very sad. I find that a very sad thing, that they would have to hide their
I
heritage.
feel like it's very sad that anybody would have to hide their culture, because we're all the same. We've all come from the same ancestors. If you trace us way back when, and just because we have different names, different backgrounds, we all came from the same place way back in the day.
Yes.
The Neanderthals. No, that's what they.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
They say. They
That's
say we're all
Neanderthal.
Neanderthals.
But it is the
It's a strange word, and it's not
yeah.
even a human. It's some other kind of
right
thing.
lower being. But ultimately,
Somewhere
it's
between ape and man.
But ultimately, it's the culture, it's the politics that created American to be English speaking. But it's just English speaking now. So that is what the law is. If you want to get a citizenship and you want to take the citizenship exam, they test you in English. They don't test, you can't go and speak Swahili and go get a citizenship.
There's too many languages.
It's not going to happen.
When they ask you what language, there's like probably 500 languages listed there,
Yeah.
So they
For-
ought to pick one for everything to be in.
Yes, and so the technical language is English, and people normally, especially if they come from other parts of the world, except for America, people normally speak 3 to 4 languages. It's normal. So your mind gets sharper the more languages you speak. So
That's
learning.
true. It improves your critical thinking skills
Yes.
to know another language, just like it also is beneficial to learn how to play an instrument. Because as a teacher, I learned that a long time ago, that those two things are what makes students have better critical thinking skills.
What is language?
Learning a language and learning how to play an instrument.
Really, I didn't know
Yes.
that. But I didn't know.
So
about
that's
that.
why you encourage your children to do that. Although I do not know how to speak another language, and I do not know how to play any instrument.
But you have the yeah, you're American. You have the critical skills. But Americans have other.
But I did get a lot of education.
Yes, yes. But
I do like learning.
and I'm sure you could continue to do so. But the most Americans have an instrument. They play an instrument.
Yes, a lot of Americans do play instruments and, like you said, speak other languages.
Other languages. Right.
I just don't happen to be one of them.
But coming back to the difficulty of English, so like she says, you have practice and learn, read, listen, practice, learn, read, listen. That's the only way. And at my first video, I talked about how each language has its own music. So you have to learn the musical pattern of English, because English is based on iambic pentameter. It's 5 sounds that they use that. You get used to that. And when you make a mistake, you will know you made a mistake because the sound of the music is wrong. It's an odd note. Like when you're playing music and you have a wrong note and you say, there's a problem. Same thing will happen with the language. The music will be wrong. So you have to be sensitive to that. How are you sensitive to that? You have to hear. You constantly have to hear English. You've got to hear the sound. You've got to hear the music.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
The sound, the iambic pentameter, yes.
Yes, it's fine. So with
Just
that,
like these beautiful chimes we're listening to.
yeah, that's right there.
And the birds.
And the birds. And the American flag out there, that you can see.
And it's such a beautiful day
Yeah, it's the perfect day.
in this wonderful little restaurant
Yes. So with that,
courtyard.
we'll close this video and listen to it again. If you have any questions, go down to the comments and leave a question. If what we are saying is too fast, rewind and re-listen. Rewind and re-listen until you understand it. Okay? Bye for now.
And have a wonderful day.
It's so sweet.